You've seen the viral dunks, the mixtapes, the rankings, the hype. But what if I told you that kid everyone's calling the next LeBron wasn't discovered, he was manufactured? They weren't just built for the league, and they were groomed for it. Four teenagers, one prep school, and a machine designed to churn out NBA stars. Cooper Flagg, Derek Queen, Asa Newell, Liam McNeely, all drafted, all from the same school, Montverde Academy. And they're not the first or the last, but this isn't just about talent, it's about a system, a pipeline, where exposure is engineered and futures are decided before they even turn 18. Montverde isn't your average high school, it's a basketball factory. NBA scouts walk the halls, practices run like pro training camps, games feel like showcases, and kids, they're treated like investments. Just look at the names: Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Ben Simmons, RJ Barrett, now Flagg, Queen, McNeely, Newell. How does one school produce this much elite talent? Because it's not luck, it's by design. Montverde's rise started in 2011, and when they hired Kevin Boyle, a coaching legend from St. Patrick's in New Jersey, he'd already built Kyrie Irving, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Al Harrington. When Boyle came to Montverde, he brought the pipeline with him and he turned the program into a prep school empire. It starts early: elite AAU, kids at 13 or 14, handlers in the background, family chasing the dream, then the move. Montverde, IMG, prolific prep, Sunrise Christian. Next comes the mixtapes, the ESPN schedules, the shoe deals, the followers. Before they even pick a college, they're already a brand. In college, it's no longer the goal, it's a stop on the marketing tour. This isn't just basketball, it's business. The pipeline prints money. Schools get national exposure, trainers lock in future NBA clients, scouts build careers, sneaker companies grab loyalty early, even highlight channels profit off these kids. Every time a player goes viral, someone gets paid. The system doesn't just build stars, or at least it ranks them. 247 Sports, Rivals, On 3, ESPN Top 100. If you're not ranked, you're invisible. And those rankings, they're not always about performance. Sometimes it's hype, sometimes it's politics, sometimes it's just who you're connected to. A 5-star label can change your life, but it can also trap you in a spotlight you're not ready for. And if you slip, the system doesn't wait. Imoni Bates, once called the next KD on Sports Illustrated at 15, by 17, transferred, injured, by 19, almost forgotten. He made the league, but not as a star, as a warning. The system built him up, then watched him fall. Ben Simmons, top pick, Montverde product, now benched, confused, forgotten. Jonathan Isaac, promising, now more known for his politics than his play. Sharif O'Neal, elite schools, big name, but never found his fit. If the pipeline can't use you anymore, it leaves you behind. Montverde started it, but now everyone's racing to catch up. IMG Academy, Overtime Elite, Donda Academy, Arizona Compass, Combine Academy, Link Academy. These aren't schools, they're franchises, and behind the scenes, it's a war for talent, facilities, NIL promises, endorsement pipelines. The goal: land the next Zion, the next Bronny, the next Scoot. It's no longer about coaching, it's about infrastructure. Look at the language: pro ready, NBA body, NBA IQ. At 17 years old, media molds them, coaches manage them, agents hover like vultures. And behind it all, a system that picks winners early and buries late bloomers. Is this development or a controlled experiment? This year's NBA draft wasn't surprising, it was inevitable. Mock drafts had these kids years ago. You didn't watch scouting, you watched confirmation. Cooper Flagg wasn't discovered, he was delivered. The pipeline gives fame, but it takes something too: pressure, expectations, millions of eyes watching teenagers. At 16, they're being judged like pros. At 17, they're criticized like busts. And by 18, some are already labeled disappointments. Mental health? Barely talked about. One wrong game, one bad quote, one injury. And the machine moves on. You're not just an athlete anymore. You're a brand, and brands can break. The NBA loves the pipeline. It lowers risk, boosts marketing, delivers prepackaged stars. By the time a player arrives, he already has fans, sponsors, highlights. It's a system that builds loyalty before development, and the league rakes in the benefits. Now players can get paid, name, image, likeness. Sounds fair, right? But NIL didn't break the system. It just changed who gets paid. Agents are showing up earlier. Endorsements are being negotiated in high school. Kids are signing with brands at 15, and with every new deal, there's another layer of control. It's not about freedom, it's about managing assets, even when they're still just teenagers. What about the ones we never see? The talented kid from a small town, the late bloomer without connections, the player who didn't get invited? They're not bad. They're just outside the machine. And in this system, that means they don't exist. Sometimes the system bets big and loses. Remember Seventh Woods? He was a viral phenom at 14, millions of views. Next Westbrook, but the hype came too early. The system moved too fast. And by college, he was just another name on the bench. He didn't fail. The system failed him. Because when you're marketed before you're matured, when you're sold before you're ready, you don't grow and you get consumed. Scouts evaluate, coaches manage, media builds hype, fans buy in. But behind all of it, there's a quiet question. Who picks the winners? Who gets buried? This is a pipeline, yes, but it's also a game of control. There's another question we don't ask enough. Who gets picked to be the next one? Why is it the most talented or the most marketable? Do we crown these kids because they're great or because they look like stars? Sometimes the system doesn't just develop players, it manufactures narratives. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't fit the brand, you're not the one. And when the machine wants a new face, it finds one fast. Because in this game, talent doesn't always win, exposure does. The NBA isn't just drafting talent anymore, they're drafting products. Montverde builds them, handlers guide them, the system sells them, and if you don't fit the formula, you're not part of the future. So the next time a teenage phenom goes viral, ask yourself, was he discovered or manufactured, and who's really pulling the strings? This is Off the Record Sports. Subscribe for the stories they don't want you to hear.